Have you ever wondered why some countries seem way poorer on paper, but when you visit them, people are living surprisingly well? Or why economists keep saying China's economy is actually bigger than America's, even though that sounds completely backwards? Here's the thing. Most of us have been looking at country wealth all wrong. We see those GDP rankings where the US is number one, and we think we understand which countries are truly rich or poor. But there's a massive blind spot in how we measure economic success, and once you understand it, you'll never look at global economics the same way again. Picture this. You're comparing two teachers. Sarah lives in New York and makes $4,000 a month. Maria lives in Mexico City and makes $800 a month. At first glance, Sarah seems 5 times wealthier, right? But here's what most people miss. Sarah pays $3,000 for a tiny apartment, while Maria pays $300 for a spacious place. Sarah spends $15 for lunch, Maria spends $3 for the same meal. Suddenly, who's really living better becomes a lot less clear. This is exactly the problem with regular GDP measurements. And there's a simple solution that changes everything. It's called GDP PPP, which stands for Gross Domestic Product Adjusted for Purchasing Power Parity. And understanding this one concept will give you a completely different and far more accurate picture of how the world economy really works. Let me break this down into 3 simple steps that anyone can use to understand true economic power. Step 1, forget the currency exchange rates. Regular GDP just converts everything to US dollars using today's exchange rates. But exchange rates fluctuate wildly and don't reflect what things actually cost. GDP PP asks a better question. If everything costs the same everywhere, how much economic output would each country really have? This matters because it reveals actual purchasing power, not just paper money. Step 2, look at what money actually buys. GDP PPP adjusts for the fact that a haircut might cost $50 in Manhattan, but $5 in Mumbai. Both haircuts serve the same economic function, so they should be valued more equally when measuring true economic output. This gives you a real sense of how far people's money goes in their daily lives. Step 3, compare countries using PPP rankings instead of nominal GDP. When you do this, the global economic picture flips dramatically. China's economy becomes larger than America's. India jumps way up the rankings. Countries in Eastern Europe and Latin America show their true economic strength. You're finally seeing the world economy as it really is. Now, I know what you're thinking. I was skeptical at first, too. How could economists have been getting this wrong for so long? But here's the thing. They haven't been getting it wrong. Both measurements matter, but for different reasons. Nominal GDP shows currency power and international trade strength. GDP PP shows actual living standards and domestic economic reality. After I started using PPP numbers to understand global economics, everything clicked. I finally understood why people in countries like Thailand or Poland seem to live better than their GDP rankings suggested. I understood why China could build massive infrastructure projects that seemed impossible based on their nominal GDP. I stopped being confused by economic news that didn't match what I saw when traveling. Here's what I want you to do. Pick 3 countries you're curious about. Look up their nominal GDP ranking, then look up their GDP PP ranking. Notice the differences. See how countries with lower costs of living shoot up the rankings when you account for purchasing power. Spend just 5 minutes doing this, and you'll have a fundamentally better understanding of global economics than most people. The bottom line is this. Small shifts in how we measure things can reveal massive truths about our world. GDP PPP isn't just an economic concept, it's a lens that shows you reality instead of illusion. And in a world where economic understanding shapes everything from politics to travel decisions to investment choices, seeing clearly makes all the difference.